So it's sapodilla season. We have a whole lot of nice sapodilla, also known as sapodilla, naseberry, nispero, and chiku. That's about all the names I know right off the top of my head. But these will be for sale in a few days on Saturday. And then I have some that will not make it to Saturday. That's a perfectly nice fruit, but it is soft now, ready to eat now. And then I also have quite a few that I found on the ground. Now, these either were knocked down by animals or wind, and then got, like little snails or dogs also start eating that. It's a very popular fruit among animals. Obviously, I'm not going to sell this, and I'm not even going to sell what I'm going to do with this fruit. One of our volunteers, Scott, discovered a wonderful thing to do with excess ripe sapodilla, and that's dehydrate it. So this is the first time I'm trying it. I have a bunch of fruit, as I said, that's not saleable, and so I'm going to try dehydrating it and see how well that works out. So when I get to flesh, this is from a fallen fruit, and when it's not firm like that, I cut back to when it looks like this over on this side. Generally, when fruit starts to degrade, it doesn't taste as good, so I'm going for firm. Okay, so there's one tray worth, and it has two different varieties of sapodilla on it. This sort of orange colored one is Molish. It's also a little bit larger than the brown yellow kind, which is Alano. But they all should work very well, hopefully. And, oops, a little bit tall. So I'm just going to finish the rest of this. And so this is one that I didn't cut up for dehydrating. It's very firm. It was a little bit soft, but because of the color and the dryness, I think it wasn't fully developed. Probably the sugars are not developed, and so I just chose not to do that. I also have a few that I didn't cut up for other reasons. Well, this one looks disgusting, but there's actually no firm place in the fruit. It's all squishy, like a water balloon. And same is true here. It's just, it's not soft, it's squishy. So anyway, those are going to compost, and these I will cut up and we'll dehydrate. So it's the next day already. And sapodilla, it turns out, dehydrates fairly quickly. It might have been just because of the volume. In my 9-tray dehydrator, I had 2.5 trays of sapodilla. This is what it looks like dehydrated. I have examples of both kinds of sapodilla. This is the Alano. And here's a piece of the Molish. So lighting's not great today, but there is definitely a difference in color. The Molish is a little bit more red, and this is, you know, sort of a light brown. Anyway, what I've discovered about dried sapodilla is that, if you can imagine, it's really, really sweet. And so it's also really good. I'm trying to figure out what it tastes like to me. Scott, who had this idea in the first place, compares the taste to a date. And both dates and dried sapodilla are very sweet. It's definitely like, it's like eating sugar, except for better. It's got a nice consistency, and I really can't describe the flavor other than like a brown sugar and possibly a tropical type of pear flavor. But anyway, it's very good. And we get sapodillas seasonally and sometimes a whole lot one day. And so it's really a good way to preserve it for the times of the year that you want a special treat.